In this video, we'll be looking at section 6.3, extra examples. So again, we're leaning on our two new theorems, which are angle, side, angle, where the side is in between the two congruent angles. And then we also have angle, angle, side, where we have two pairs of congruent angles and then some side on the outside of those angles that are congruent. So let's draw a couple pictures and see if we can identify which is which. And then for this one, okay. Now let's say we're given this information. So we're told this angle over here is congruent to this angle over here. And then we're told that angle there is congruent to that angle there. And then on this one, we will be given that the side is congruent to the side. Let's give it some letters. So we're given that this side is congruent to this side, and we'll also be given that this angle is congruent to this angle, like so. Okay, so let's look at our first extra example first. So I'm given three things, and one of them is implied, and it's just like from the previous examples where not everything's going to be told to us, and we have to really be able to understand what's going on. So I'm given that the angles are congruent, so I'll say angle HGK is congruent to angle HJX. That's not a K, it's an X. HGX is congruent to HJX. Okay. And then I'm given that HXG is congruent to HXJ. The pink is congruent to the pink. Like that. Now, where's that third piece? So right now I'm looking at angle, angle, and I'm trying to figure out, well, it's got to be a side, because we know we're looking at angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. So which piece is kind of implied or hidden that they're congruent? Well, it's going to be that shared side, the side that both triangles are using, and they're both using that HX. So we can say HX is congruent to HX. Now we have our three pieces, and what we're looking at is angle, angle, side. So if I like kind of go around a circle, I could say angle, angle, side, because I have the two angles. And more importantly, it's like, where is that side located? It's not in between the two angles, so this is angle, angle, side. So we can say because of the above givens, I'm not going to list them again. Because of the above givens, we can say that triangle HXG is congruent to triangle HXJ by angle, side. So because of these three given statements, my angle, side, I can say the two triangles are congruent. Now in the second one, let's write down our givens. Okay, so we're given that QZ is congruent to CZ. That's in blue. So we're given line segment QZ, the side length, is congruent to CZ. And then we're given that angle PQZ is congruent to angle PQZ is BCZ. Now this again has another one of those hidden kind of congruencies that we just need to know this definition and geometry to really be able to see it. And that hidden congruency is right here, our vertical angles. So it's not given to us, but we know that these are congruent like that because they are vertical angles. So angles that are kind of like across from each other, across a vertex from each other, are congruent. So that's the last piece that wasn't told to us, but we need to know it. So we can say angle BZQ is congruent to angle BZC. And now we have angle, side, angle, with our side that's congruent being in between our two angles. So our statement we can say is, because of the above givens, we can say that triangle PZQ is congruent to triangle BZC by angle, side, angle. The side is in between the two congruent angles. So by angle, side, angle. Like that. Okay, now let's say we're asked to make a claim that the triangles are congruent, but we just need more information. So like, what information would we need to make the claim that the two triangles are congruent? So state the additional information needed to use the given congruency theorem. So number one, we want to try to prove angle, side, angle. And here are our two triangles. And on number two, we're going to try to prove angle, side. And here are our two triangles. Like so. Okay. And our given information will be angle, this angle here is congruent to that angle there. And then for this one, this angle here is congruent to that angle there. And we'll also be given like so. Okay, let's start with number 1. Well, what is given and what do we need? Well, given is our purples. That one's easy to see. Angle ABD is congruent to angle CDB. And our second piece of information is that hidden piece of information. The side that's being shared is congruent. So I can say BD is congruent to BD. Okay. Now what do we need to use ASA? So needed. Well, if I'm trying to prove angle side angle, I got my angle, I got my side, and then what's the other angle? Well, I need to put my side in between the two angles, so I have that angle, and that means I'll need this angle. So we can say that we need to say that this bottom left-hand angle, ADB, is congruent to that top right-hand angle. So what is needed is angle ADB is congruent to angle CBD, like so. So we were given the purple, and then we had to know that implied knowledge that a side being shared means it's congruent, and then we wrote down what we needed. So on this one, we're going to try to do the same idea, but we're doing angle, angle, side. So right now I have angle, angle, side this way, or I can go the other way. So we're going to talk about both. So given, I've got these two, I got GHI is congruent to angle QPR. And I'm also given in purple a GIH is congruent to angle QRP. Now what's needed? Well, there's two correct answers for this one. Because I just need that side that's not in between the two angles. So we could say either this, or we could say, or that. So either one is all we needed. So either one is correct. So we can say GH is congruent to QP. And I can't stress, like, I could have stopped here. Because then I'd have angle, angle, side. Or we could have said GI is congruent to QR. Because then I would have gone angle, angle, side. So we could have gone counterclockwise with angle, angle, side, or we could have gone clockwise with angle, angle, side. So both of these statements are correct, and you only need one of them. Okay, so thank you very much for watching the extra examples video. If you have any questions, just reach out to me, and thank you and have a great rest of your day.